Hello guys and welcome back to this channel. Today we're looking at something very exciting. So the federal government of Nigeria is set to increase oil production to about 2 million barrels per day. Now many of you may think that, oh, this is unattainable, this is a humongous feat, and we don't have the capacity nor do we have the manpower to see this through. But I beg to differ. In fact, the Minister of Defense actually came out to re-echo the same sentiment on an interview just this weekend, where he said that Nigeria is set to increase oil production to about 1.9 million barrels per day. Now you may be asking, what's the Minister of Defense doing in matters that concern oil production? Shouldn't that be the job of the GMD of NNPC, the person of Mr. Mele Kyari? And I will agree with you, but also disagree. He came from a security perspective, so he's speaking as as touching the security around the Niger Delta region and in other oil producing states in the country. Now, the NNPC and the private militia have done a lot of work in that space, which gave the minister some impetus and the boldness to come and speak on air about these matters. Now, there are three major reasons why I agree that we would be able to increase oil production to 2 million barrels per day by December this year, and that's what we're going to look at in today's video. If you're just joining us, my name is Edik Kanobut and this is Isaac News, and we're looking at the FG's plan to ramp up oil production to about 2 million barrels per day. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button, turn on notification, and engage with us in the comment section. Do to follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram. And back to today's video. Now, I earlier said that there are three major reasons why this is very possible. Number one is the war against crude oil theft. Now, if you've been following NNPC's weekly publication from February of this year up until October, we're in November, till date, NNPC has been releasing weekly publications trying to, will I say, update the public as to the work going on in the fight against crude oil theft. A lot of illegal connections have been removed from certain pipes. Even Nigeria's largest pipe, the Trans-Niger pipe, had sometime in May, between April and May, 400 illegal connections removed from a single pipeline. Some pipelines had to be shut down because they were losing so much oil, that the companies were running on a loss. And so there's active war in all quarters against crude oil theft, and this is already yielding huge dividends to the government, as we've seen crude oil production increase from about 1.1 million barrels per day earlier this year, and currently between 1.56 and 1.6 million barrels per day, all because of the work going on, in the Niger Delta region to fight and to curb crude oil theft in this region. So this is the perspective from which the Minister of Defense was speaking from, saying that as we progress and as we keep winning the war against crude oil theft, we're going to see an increased output from our different oil fields. All right, moving on. The NNPC has restored oil production of about 275,000 barrels per day. This is huge at Total Energies. Now, Total Energies had some dispute with the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASAN, as well as the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG. So these are the associations and the bodies around the oil and gas space. And Total Energies has some rift with them that they recently saw, thanks to NNPC acting as a big brother to bring these two parties together in order to solve whatever was the issue between them and to resume production at this oil field. Now, according to a statement, a peace deal has been brokered between Total Energies and PENGASAN and NUPENG in order to help suspend the ongoing industrial strike taken against that particular oil field. So an immediate production of oil will resume in that quarter. Now, this is bringing in about 275,000 barrels of oil per day. Remember, we are running at between 1.56 and 6 million. If we keep figures at 6 million, 1.6 million, we can say that plus 275,000, that would be 1.875 thousand barrels of crude oil per day. We would have attained our OPEC quota, which is 1.78 million barrels per day, just by bringing in this oil field due to the recent peace broker deal struck between Total Energies and Pengassan and Nupeng. So this is the work that is done in this quarter in order to increase oil production. Now, thirdly, the federal government have set plans in motion in order to resume crude oil production at the Zabazaba oil field. Now, this is a statement released by the Nigerian Petroleum Regulatory Commission, the NUPRC. So NUPRC also revealed that steps are being taken to address all the legal matters related to this Zabazaba oil field. And the anticipated outcome from this oil field is about 150,000 barrels of oil per day. And when this happens, it's going to significantly enhance Nigeria's overall crude oil production. So we have 275,000 from Total Energies, and we have 150,000 from the Zabazaba oil field, plus the 1.56 to about 1.6 million barrels per day. We're going to see crude oil production ramp up to 2 million barrels per day. And we're not even taking into cognizance the fact that we are winning the war against crude oil theft. And the more the war is being won, the more we're ramping up crude oil production. But if we add all these figures together, 1.56 plus 275,000 plus 150,000, we're going to have approximately 2 million barrels of crude oil production per day. And this can happen on or before December of 2023. Now, this is very important. This is very, very important. And why is it important? 3 reasons. Number 1, OPEC quota. Nigeria has an obligation as an OPEC member nation to actually churn out about 1.78 million barrels of crude oil per day, to the international market in order to ensure that stability of price and just to, avoid being, on the bad books of OPEC. That's an obligation that we have to OPEC. And then we have Dangote who is already coming online, and Dangote is already complaining that he's not receiving enough feedstock, or they are feared that he's not going to receive enough feedstock to run his refinery. Now, his refinery at full capacity is 650,000 barrels per day. And that would eat in very deeply into Nigeria's current, crude oil production. Then we have the modular refineries that are already complaining that the nation has abandoned them, that no attention is being paid to them by NNPC, and that they are suffering a lot of loss. They don't have money to pay back the loans they borrowed to set up the refinery because they're not producing, nobody's giving them oil. And this is because NNPC is, tied. The nation is tied. We want to get FX from exportation, and we want to also fulfill our OPEC obligation by churning out this amount of crude oil. So we don't even produce enough oil for our OPEC quota. How then are we going to have oil to send to our modular refineries and to send to Dangote? And whenever BOA comes up, BOA 200,000 barrels per day refinery, where we're going to get the oil to feed BOA is why we need to ramp up production. So it's very important for the nation that we increase oil production so we can fulfill our OPEC obligation, and we can also have enough feedstock to feed Dangote and the other refineries in the country. Now, Nigeria is set to increase oil production to about 2.5 million barrels per day by next year, 2024. Now, if that happens, we can fulfill OPEC's obligation of 1.78, and we would have about 750,000 thereabout more crude oil to supply Dangote, which is 250,000, and the modular refineries in need of feedstock from NNPC. Now, listening to all this, it sounds very easy and very applicable on paper, theoretically. But we should understand that in the real world, in production world, it takes months, sometimes 6 months, a lot of time to plan, to resume, and to produce even at optimum capacity. So we're going to give the country some breather and allow it to, stabilize and try to, bring into fruition some of the plan that it has set in the oil and gas space. Now, if we can attain 2.5 million, even if we can even attain 2 million barrels per day, that's more jobs for Nigerians, that's more FX for the country, that's more money coming to the hands of a lot of Nigerians, and that is a more stable economy, because with more FX, we're going to see, a more stable, rate between the dollar and the naira. We're going to be able to curb the illegalities around the black markets, or the power window. We're going to help the country actually, put its fiscal policy into place and also be able to ramp up its monetary policy and follow it through. So it's very important that we actually hit these targets for this year and also hit targets for next year, so we don't allow Dangote to go and import crude oil from Venezuela or from Brazil or from any of the Gulf nations or the Arab nations. And this is very critical to nation development. Now, this we're going to wrap it up for this video. I'm happy that's not too long and we can easily engage with this. Please do well to engage with us in the comment section. Share your thoughts with us about this. And until we see again, Godspeed.